Hi, good morning. My name is Ajit Paul, and I'm the trainer for the Power BI course from Uplatz. Today's topic is combo charts and area charts in Power BI. So, today's lesson in the day 26 of our entire course, we are going to talk about visualizations again after going through the extensive portion of advanced DAX. And it is very important and it is very understandably a visual enhancement part of Power BI where we can talk about the visualizations again. So we have talked about all those charts and all the displays in which we can be able to get an insights in DAX in gathering the data. So let me just open up the report. We have created a cafe report where there are multiple dimension tables and also a fact table which consists the sales of few customers for the last 2 months of this year and the last 2 months and the 2 months of previous year, comparing the months of August and September for both the periods 2023 and 2024. So in order to achieve that, we have built tables, we have built a lot of measures, we have talked about DAX functionalities, and now we need to understand how can we able to use and reuse the visualization. So give me one moment. Okay. So yes, it has loaded all the visuals and all the data. So in Power BI, as you can see, we are using the dark mode. In the measure table, we have built a lot of measures, and that is something which achieves us and which helps us achieve complicated tasks. We have the customer table, the date table. We have the fact sales table, which is linked with all the other tables. We have the items and promotions tables as well. We have hidden a few tables because we won't need them for the purpose of this lesson. So initially we had talked about different kinds of visualizations, different kinds of charts, and in understanding different kinds of charts, we can definitely follow the guidance of Microsoft Learn materials, which can help us into understanding different kinds of visuals, different kinds of charts, and this helps us into understanding the best ways of using combo charts for this matter. So if I'm just use this option, okay, that's fine. So in Power BI, a combo chart is a single visualization that combines a line chart and a column chart. So we have talked about briefs, about line charts, about column charts, and we have talked about visualizations. So if you want to understand visualizations and all these charts, let's try to do a very fun experiment. Let's try to take a screenshot of this. And let's go to our AI tool that is in ChatGPT. And ChatGPT helps us with analysis, with understanding documentation. And in photo, if we apply images, and I'll say act as a PL 300 expert and help me understand the basic visuals and make an introduction to data visualization. Give me one moment, just a small error. The data visualization and which charts are necessary for which kind of data with examples and the business logic. So that is what we want to achieve. We want to see which type of visualization can be implemented for which chart. And let's get an introduction regarding the same. You have all the tables and the measures. We just go over here, we can take this option. We can take the first image. The first image will be of the screenshots. Just scroll down, open the customers table, and take the next screenshot. You can go back to Power BI and just keep on opening each of these tables. So that will form the basis of a third chart. So we can understand the names of columns and which information each column can store. So it gets a basic understanding about the project, about the data, because it is interrelated with all the other conversations which has happened. It's not necessary that I can be able to also name the report and mention ChatGPT to find out everything, but yes, it will store a lot in its memory. It is the same cafe report. Just gonna say user memory, and let me just go back to this lesson. So some visual ideas are provided here. Please help me with all and give me a basic introduction. And I'll just press enter right now after finishing the prompt. So now let's go to the introduction of combo charts, right? So as we can understand, let's have an introduction part before we can jump into the visualizations directly. So before diving into combo charts, area charts, it is important to recap the previous steps or the lessons which we had covered previously. The first part will be data modeling. Here we have created relationships between different tables such as fact sales, customers, items, promotions. And these relationships allows us to perform cross-table calculations and visualizations. So basic visualizations are understandably here. We use bar charts to represent simple sales data such as total sales by item or total sales by category. So you can just take the help of a simple bar chart, just press over here. In the y-axis, we can group this item by the specific information like why or which part do we want to group. We want to group this, suppose in terms of item names. So we add this data field over here, and x-axis will be the amount of the measure you want this to be compared to against. So here we can just go to the sales fact sales table and we can put this as amount sold. So now we can understand all the customers are being grouped by in this way, or rather all the item names are being grouped. So this is the one example of using a simple bar chart where you can understand all the items and the information it is trying to convey. So if we just drag, we can adjust the size. We can ensure that all the items are displayed without all the names getting like blurted out and covered with special characters. So we are able to see all the names. We see the item name over here, and we see the sum of amounts which is sold. If you just hover over here, we can see that we have the item name and sum of amounts sold. So we understand each of these amounts which has been displayed as the total values, and this is a simple bar chart. KPIs like total revenue, number of orders were created to highlight the most important metrics. So we can also have a measure, and in the measure we can say something like total orders, and here we just use the sum function, and in sum we can group this information by fact sales and the quantity sold. So that can be the total orders. If we just go to total we see that we have the total orders over here. For this, a card visual can be a very, very great, insightful information where we can get the total orders, and the total orders, as you can see, is 78. So there is a card visual which we are able to create. So there are many options and many ways to format the card visual. We can assign visual borders, we can assign the categories, we can assign a lot of features so that it strikes out, and it also gives a really, really amazing outlook and a really insightful way. So yes, we have the effects option. When we can see, we can have the option of visual borders as well with rounded corners. We can put rounded corners of 12, and we can take a shade of gray into this. So we can see that now we have the total orders in uh, some sort of a structure. So this is what we get, and this is what we can understand by the usage of KPIs. So total revenue, number of orders were created to highlight the most important metrics. You can just take copy paste into this metrics, or it's a great idea to use the existing metrics which we can use from our end as well. We are using a lot of metrics and a lot of ways to display the information from the end-to-end project reports. So here, I want the total revenue. I don't want total number of orders. So I'll just say total sales. Or if we just type revenue, we don't see that we have any other field like that. So we have total beverage, total profit. We can have the option of total sales for particular month, total sales for beverages, total sales for main course. We also have the total sales for starters, but we don't have something like total revenue. So we can go to measure table. Let's create a new measure. We're gonna name it total revenue. And now we want to go to the fact sales table. And in fact sales table, we have two options. We have selling price MRP, we have amount sold. I'm gonna go to amount sold. Now we got the total revenue as well. So now I'll go to total revenue, and I'll just drag it so that we now have the correct information. So we see that the information is not being displayed correctly. I'll just stretchen up this card, and we have 28.35K as the total revenue. So I'll just try to make sure that the size matches and the size doesn't change along with all the other capabilities which should be there. So we don't need the category label. We can assign a title and make it something like total revenue. We can have a text color. We can also assign something like a background color as well. We can push this in the center, and there is a lot of ways when we can format these options. We have the options of Segua bold, Segua UI semi bold, and we can just change the color back to black, or we can just change this background color to include just a little bit of gray so that it looks professional. We can go to gray, we can try to drag this up. Let's try to put a light gray shade of color. So, so if we do EA and just repeat it twice, it makes up for a very, very sober shade of gray. I'm just gonna do format over here. It has removed the title. And if I just include the title as, I'll include it as total revenue. And here, I'm just gonna change this to total orders, right? So this is how we can make KPIs, how we can make cards, We do have the KPI visualization as well, where we can have the values, the trend axis, the targets. So all these options can be achieved. I'm just explaining this from a perspective of your understanding. So apart from this, we have the option of maps, if applicable. Maps were used to represent the geographic data. So let's move into more complex visualizations like combo charts or area charts for our understanding. And if we use now ChatGPT to understand the topic of visualization, and it will give us a very, very unique, insightful. And here we can understand data visualization allows us to explore patterns, trends, and insights from raw data, transforming numbers into visual context that is easier to understand. Power BI provides various types of visualizations that help in presenting data in multiple formats, charts, tables, and KPIs. The key is to understanding what types of charts to use depending on the data and the insights you are trying to uncover. So we can get the brief insights. We have bar and column charts, when to use an example. So in bar and column charts, it is best for comparing data across categories. For example, comparing total sales by item or total orders by month. For example, in a cafe scenario, a bar chart would display the total revenue by food category, like snacks, beverages. It helps identify the best performing items or categories over time. So that is what we can understand. We also have the steps where we how we can create this. So yes, that is very important to understand. We have the line charts as well. So line charts are ideal for showing trends over time. It is used for tracking monthly sales trends, and it can reveal seasonal trends such as spike in sales during holidays. So line charts are something which are also very useful because it takes into account the time intelligence functions. And if we just switch into line chart, it is understandably giving the items as with the names. So this for categories line charts is not a useful item. It is not very much valuable. So line charts are best displayed over time. So if we go to trend axis in the date table, we have the day, we have the month, and we have talked about increasing granularity. We have talked about understanding all those days, understanding the views as well. So this is the x axis where we can put the dates, and we can understandably see the data which we have. For the months of August and September, we are having the data. And then again, there is a period where we don't have any information. And again, the information starts from August and September. So, due to the data inconsistency, the line charts cannot be properly conveyed over here. But yes, we have a lot of information, a lot of other reports when we can display the ribbon charts and the line charts in the best way possible. So if we can move on from here, let's try to understand combo charts. When combo charts are used, combo charts are used for comparing two different matrices, sales and discounts in the same visual. That is what is the best use and the best examples of combo charts. Because a combo chart combines two charts, typically bar charts and line charts, in a single visualization. These charts allow you to compare multiple metrics that share the same categories, making it easier to analyze how two variables interact with each other. Combo charts are ideal when you want to compare two matrices that might be on different scale. For example, we might want to compare sales as bars and promotional discounts as a line for each product. So this can help in identifying correlations, patterns, and trends between two sets of data. We also have the example of visualizing sales and promotion impact. You can use in this scenario a combo chart to compare total sales from fact sales table, discount percentage from the promotions table. So the first step will be to add a line and stacked column chart, and that is one option to push and to understand a combo chart, because we see when you have combo charts and when we have the option of using charts and visualizations, we have an option of stacked area chart, we have area charts, and we have line and clustered column chart. So if we click on line and clustered column chart, we see that there is a visualization which pops up. I'll just place it in a way where it will suitably useful to share the crop size. So the steps are very simple. Whenever we talked about combo charts, we see that there are some options like x-axis, column y-axis, line y-axis, the column legend. So this goes for line and stacked column chart. So we also have the options where we can get line and stacked column chart. So let's talk about line and stacked column chart over here. That is also giving us the x-axis, the column y, the line y, column legend. These are the most important fields where we got the shared axis column values and the line values. So let's try to understand and let's try to experiment of the information we want to. So in x-axis, I want to put from the fact sales table the amount sold. So we are having one matrix as amount sold. In line values, we can put the average discount. We also have the DAX code for total sales, which can get the total sales and also the average discount. So if I just type on average discount, we see average promotions discount percentage. So we are getting the average discount as well. So in bar, we can display the total sales by dragging it into column values, and in line we can get the average discount. So in column y-axis, if you put an average discount, it won't work. I want to put this in the line axis. Okay. Oops, it's not what I wanted. Okay. So we got the average discount in line y-axis. Now we want to see and let's try to understand amount sold from fact sales, or we can compare and we can try to compare across categories if we want to. I'm gonna just try this. It's, right. I'll go to the date table. Let's use the date. It's not making. No. We need to understand that how can we create a combo chart over here in the best way possible. So in order to understand this, we can use the capabilities of AI here as well, where we have the total revenue. Let me just type the total revenue. All right, we are not using the total revenue. We can use, okay, let's try to understand and group this in a way where we can get the values per customer, because the discount, everything has been paid by the customer. So the customers are the most important metric of this visualization, right? So we have amount sold, and we can group this by customer. So we can have the age, customer ID, the name. We can put this as a legend. And instead of amount sold, we can ask this question to ChatGPT for any further insights. So I want to see where I am going wrong over here. So I'll see correct range as mentioned. It's line and stacked column chart. Correct. This line and stacked column chart. Let's try to see the few options which we can understand. So we have the start date, the end date, the discount percentage. We have a lot of options which we can use. So We got the month number, the quarters, the month. Okay, we got the sum of amount sold, the column legends. We are getting the options, right? We understandably have a few ways where we can get these options. So name, we can select this name in terms of top n. We can put the top five categories, and we can value this by the amount sold or sum of amount sold. Let's reduce this to 3. So to correct field and to correct this discount, the average of total sales and average discount, we can use the item name. So for x-axis, we are using the item name over here. So here I'm just gonna keep this customer's name as an x-axis. That makes a proper sense to categorize this. Instead of top 3, now I can put top 5 by the basis of sum of amount sold. Now this chart makes more sense. And now we can group this by all the customers over here. So the customers' names are being mentioned. We can use the total sales for column y-axis. So we are already doing that. We are using column sales for the total y-axis. Then it's mentioned to use the line y-axis for the line chart. So we are mentioning that we have the average discount, which we are using as the line chart. Okay, it can be done from average promotions, discount percentage. We can choose item category for column legend, where we can categorize them basis on the category. That is really insightful what we can be able to achieve. So in column legend, we are using customer, and instead of customer, which we are already putting in place of the x-axis, we can group this as per it is mentioning item's name. So it is mentioning the category. So if we try to group this by category, now this makes some insights clear. So we understand that some customers, they have ordered starters, they have also ordered the main course as well, and most of the customers have ordered only main course. That is again from the top 3 customers or the top 5 customers which we are choosing, right? So this is a very important way of using this. We also have the option of error bars, we have the option of trend lines, and instead of the average discount, what else can we pick up on? We can understand a lot of options or a lot of insights from this. We can get the total beverage sales. We can try to incorporate some other options for the line y-axis. So we can get the item names, the counts, and that is the most important part of using this. Okay, we have the discount percentage as well. Sum of discount percentage, we can just group this by the average, and here we have seen another metric or another number visual. So this is the benefit, this is the understandably range of the customers, right? So we can get a range, we can understand what is the average target, how much are we aiming to see. It gives us a lot of insights where we can combine and compare two matrices. This is what we can understand by combo charts. So we can get the positive correlation. So if you notice with items that higher discounts also have higher sales, it suggests that discounts positively influence sales. We can have the comparative analysis where we can compare how different items performed with varying discount levels. Suppose we change this customer's name and we try to incorporate the item name. Now we are having all the items with grouping them by starters, by main course, and now this is the most important way of analyzing metric, analyzing all these options. So we have mango mocktails as beverages. We got all these options in a very extensive way. So we got the average promotions of discounts. So this is the promotional average, right? This is not the average of the amount sold. So we can see all these categories, how much they have been sold by all the categories. So whichever is main course, whichever is customers, we can compare each and every metric as well. This is the basis and understandably the one of the most critical components in data visualization. So, right, if I've just talked about the average, we can put the options and we can sort this. We can sort the axis, we can sort the legends, we can sort these legends by categories, right? So, what are we able to understand? We can understand a couple of insights. But first, we have the average quantity sold, we have the measure average. If I click on the average, we see that it is taking the average X from the sales and the quantity sold. So we can understand the more quantities of main course are being sold, and they are also developing a very positive correlation. If we just decrease it and if we just switch this, we can understand that mango mocktail, which is a beverage, which is not being sold a lot, the quantities are not being sold. That's why the sales are also less. So there is a positive correlation, and that is how we can compare these metrics. That is the most important part and most important component of a combo chart. So when we can use a combo chart? Combo charts are a great choice when you have a line chart and a column chart with the same x-axis to compare multiple measures with different value ranges, to illustrate correlation between two measures in one visualization, to check whether one measure meets the target defined by another measure, to conserve canvas space. That is what we can understand. We can create combo charts from the upper left section, and we can have a single basic axis combo chart as well, where we can select sales, gross margin, drag it to the y axis. We can select time, fiscal month, and drag to the x axis as well. That is what we can use by the help of combo chart. We can have line and clustered column charts as well. So the combo chart will look something like this if we drag the last year sales to the line y-axis bucket. Okay, we can create a combo chart with two axes as well. So that is the advanced visualizations which we can use. We can add hierarchies to the data as well. And here in column y-axis, we can have line and stacked column charts. That will give a very unique kind of visualization. We can add titles to the axis where we can select the paintbrush icon to open the formatting pane, select y-axis and set up the icons as well. That is what we can understand. We have some consideration and limitations which we need to have a read as well. That is what we can understand from combo charts. So what are area charts? Area chart is essentially a line chart where the area beneath the line is shaded to emphasize the magnitude of change over time. This type of chart is useful for showing cumulative values over a period such as monthly sales trends. So area charts are ideal for trend analysis over time, especially when you want to focus a cumulative growth or decline. These charts help visualize volume or magnitude changes over time, making it easier to track progress. So we have the monthly sales trend analysis in this example. We'll track the total sales over time, showing how sales have grown or declined from month to month. Okay, you can select the area chart. We can drag the date field into the x-axis. So okay, I don't want to put anything over here. If I place this over here, we see that we have an option of area chart. And in area chart, I have the option of item name, some amount sold, category. I'm just going to remove all these parts. Instead of item names, we want to add some data fields as well. So we do have the option of cumulative sales as well, and we can have the running total of sales used in this measure and in this chart as well. So in the x-axis, it is advised to use the date field, so we can use the date key. And the date is been in a hierarchy way where we can see the year, month, date. Y-axis is something where we need to get that cumulative of the total sales of all the products, so we can put amount sold. Here we are getting a relation, and this is an area chart which is comparing the different types of periods. Just gonna keep it like this. And in we can also have the option to adjust the time frame as well, where we can use the filter pane to limit the time frame to specific years. So if we go to the filters, we can see that we have all these visualizations for date, month, and here we have the secondary y-axis and the legend. We can have the additional filters by using month, and where we can compare this with different months. I'm not gonna put month right now. We have month number, month, again month number. Don't put the count. Nope. We can put the month in legend, where we have comparing August and September. And that is one area chart which is really essential to understand, to compare different kinds of values, different kinds of options. And this is the best part which we can see. We are getting the filters, and we see that the number of days each month are falling. We can just select August. We just scroll, we can just select September. So we can just select these two filters over here to summarize and to use the basic comparison between only 2 months. It is filtering the data in such a manner. This is one of the best forms of area chart, and the way we can combine and use this also bring us to the advanced concepts which we can and which we will definitely need to understand from end to end. Then go to Microsoft Learn, let's type area chart.